Good morning, and welcome all to the First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. My name is Karen Rose Gredler, and I'm one of the lay ministers here at FUS. We are indeed fortunate that I am joined by the highly skilled worship team of Dave Cresswell, Lori Cresswell, Claire Box, Linda Warren, and Daniel Carnes. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called by love to cultivate relationships, to nurture mind and spirit, and to grow justice in the world. We are doing so together in this time of streaming worship as we remember the love, compassion, and resilience within and among us. We may be isolated, but we are never alone. In this time of physical distancing, we are creating space together for our community. And we would like to invite you to keep the community building going after our service by joining our virtual coffee hour. In a moment, we will be lighting our chalice here, and I hope you will find something to light as your chalice, whether a candle or even an app on your phone. Whatever you choose to light, may the fires of our chalice flames burn brightly throughout our wider community. I now invite you to take a cleansing breath and join me in a few moments of centering silence. Our opening words are from Athra Veda. Let there be peace in the sky and in the atmosphere. Peace in the plant world and in the forests. Let the cosmic powers be peaceful. Let Brahma be peaceful. Let there be undiluted and fulfilling peace everywhere. And now let us join together in the lighting of our chalices. Our chalice lighting reading today is from Christine Robinson. Please join me if you will. We gather this hour as a people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Please join us in singing hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." We will sing through this hymn twice. "'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed.
I have a lovely storybook to share with you this morning. It's called The Quiet Book, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot. There are several very sweet pictures in it, and I've chosen some of the pages to share with you now in hopes that if it looks good to you, you'll find the actual book and be able to read the entire thing. It's a lovely bedtime book, but it's also very sweet because of the pictures. There are many kinds of quiet. First one, awake quiet, so that you won't wake everybody up. Sleeping sister quiet. Oh yeah, that's important. Don't scare the robin quiet. Sometimes we have to be very quiet, not to scare animals or birds that we're trying to watch. Coloring in the lines quiet. This little guy may also be quiet because he's in a timeout, because it appears that he has drawn on the wall, so he may be in trouble. Last one to get picked up from school, quiet. He looks sad, doesn't he? Oh my. Best friends don't need to talk, quiet. That's the kind of quiet we have with people we love. Story time quiet. This is the kind of quiet we have when we're listening to someone else. Maybe you're being quiet listening to me now. Maybe not. Bedtime kiss, quiet. And sound asleep, quiet. There are times that we need to be quiet so that we can listen, hear things around us, and allow our minds to think about important and relaxing things as well. I hope you enjoyed this story and maybe you'll want to look for it. Thank you.
And now please join us in singing hymn number 391, Voice Still and Small. We will sing through this hymn twice. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
Good morning, I'm Laurie Cresswell. I'm going to share a reading from the Christian tradition. This is from Richard Foster, a Quaker theologian. Foster says, before attempting to forge a Christian view of simplicity, it is necessary to destroy any notion that the Bible is ambiguous on this issue. Often it is felt that our response to wealth is a personal matter. The Bible's teaching in this area is said to be strictly a matter of private interpretation, but no serious reading of Scripture can substantiate such a view. Jesus speaks to the question of economics more than any other single social issue. For example, he exhorted the young ruler not just to have an inner attitude of detachment from possessions, but literally to get rid of his possessions if he wanted the kingdom of God. In the gospel, he states, among other things, "Blessed are you poor, for yours is the kingdom of heaven. Woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Sell your possessions and give alms. Provide yourself with purses that do not grow old. And you cannot serve both God and mammon." St. Paul reinforces this emphasis, stating, among other things, "Keep your life free of love for money and be content with what you have." If in a comparatively simple society such strong emphasis is placed upon the spiritual dangers of wealth, how much more should we who live in a highly affluent society take seriously the spiritual question of simplicity?
Our theme for this month is sustainability. That is, maintaining all aspects of the earth that are needed to support future generations' ability to live decently. Sustainability is a huge topic. It invariably involves our individual consumption levels and how to reduce them without feeling an oppressive sense of sacrifice. We may try to simplify what's needed for sustainability in ways that let us off the hook. Two examples of this sustainability. First, oh, the problem is overpopulation, and that's mainly in the third world. But as Roz Woodward explained 2 weeks ago, there is a huge difference in your and my consumption levels versus that of a person in the third world. And increasingly, others are learning how to live more like we do in China, India, and other places. So we in the affluent countries must lead the way, and especially in the United States. Well, a second simplification, it's just a matter of changing to renewable energy. Well, this is important, although extremely difficult to do comprehensively in our current culture. And more importantly, it's not nearly sufficient. There are issues of water shortage and pollution, soil loss, projected scarcities of many other non-renewable and renewable resources if we keep going as we are. We simply need to consume less overall. Now, political activism is a very important piece here, and I applaud the work done by so many here at FUS and others across the country. It is difficult to change public policy, especially in the face of moneyed interest and the susceptibility of people to propaganda. It's also true that realistically, if we are to sustain a livable planet for future generations, we must aggressively address our own individual consumption patterns. And that inevitably means significantly simplifying our individual material consumption. We must walk the talk. Driving a Prius, if we can afford one, and using efficient light bulbs and things of that nature can be important steps, but they will not be nearly enough. We must be willing to have our lifestyle truly impacted. Now, this is hard for us to face. Millions of years of biological evolution, thousands of years of cultural evolution have culminated in a deep-seated orientation toward and attachment to material abundance and exciting experiences. Thus, this attachment seems so natural and inevitable to us that we can no more see it than a fish sees the water that it swims in. It is built into our subconscious brains. And at the same time, we may be weakened in our resolve, not to mention our inner peace, by the great uncertainties that we face. So to truly address these attachments and to give us peace with the uncertainty of the outcome, we need powerful tools. First, the understanding of the truth that's needed. But then, due to our deep conditioning, we need deeper work. Tools that work below the conscious level to help us be truly contented with less, and that give us some peace with the tremendous uncertainty as to what the outcome will be. Well, among the most powerful tools available are ancient religious practices, paganism, indigenous American spirituality, and many others. I will focus on the two that I am most familiar with, the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the Buddha. I will show that some deep commonality exists between these two paths, one requiring religious faith and the other not requiring that. Interestingly, several years back, a group of Christian monastics and Buddhist monastics got together and shared deeply with each other. And they found that their cosmologies were very different. Their actual inner experiences, however, in prayer and meditation were very similar, and their social outlooks were indistinguishable. So having some knowledge of how Jesus' teaching can profoundly support sustainability can help all of us, perhaps in our own practice and certainly in understanding and reaching out to many of our neighbors. And as Laurie's earlier reading demonstrates, Jesus put great emphasis in his teaching on simplicity. It is quite notable that he did this even when sustainability was not an issue. He was clearly saying that simplicity is a primary spiritual issue for the individual. When he spoke of the rich man having trouble getting into heaven, he was not calling the rich man evil. He was simply saying that living the rich life with its numerous attachments would be a significant hindrance in following Jesus' path. In addition, Jesus' most basic teaching actually directly relates to simplicity today. And let's see how that is. Now, Jesus focused on two commandments. The first, love your God with all your heart and all your soul. And the second, love your neighbor as yourself. And he said, there is no commandment greater than these. Now, clearly, loving God is not the same as loving your spouse, your children, or other people. Love of God really means the persistent practice of gratitude linked to the surrender to God's will. What is most fundamental, and what is the most fundamental earthly part of God's will? Well, it's right there, to love your neighbor as yourself. And this includes our neighbors in time, which are future generations. And devout Christian friends of mine have wholeheartedly endorsed this interpretation I put on this. Now, for those with a strong Christian faith, frequent, sustained contemplation on the security of knowing God's love, trust in the ultimate reward, and communion with God can be powerfully transformative. Among other things, it can reinforce the ability to truly surrender to God's will. The fulfillment this can bring, along with knowing Jesus' teaching, can make can make contentment with less seem much more natural and doable. And this is well demonstrated by the ecumenical sisters at Holy Wisdom Monastery in Middleton, with their passionate work for simplicity and sustainability. So this path is available to many millions of people in our country with the necessary faith. But what about those without the faith? Could there be an equally effective path available to everyone? Well, practicing according to the Buddha's teaching does not require faith in God, but only the willingness to practice diligently. The teachings offer even more explicit reference to simplicity, because gradually letting go of self-centered desire is the very essence of the Buddha's path. The letting go of attachment to things being the way we want, including attachment to having assurance as to what the future will bring. Now, progress in that letting go comes from the sustained use of a set of mutually reinforcing practices. The only faith we need is the willingness to give it a try. The first practice is deep reflection on the radical interdependence of all phenomena, very similar to our own seventh principle. And reflection on the fact that our moment-to-moment intention is the primary tool that we can use to effect change. And then the second practice defines what is most important in intention. The Buddha listed 3. Intention toward letting go, intention toward non-harming, and intention toward goodwill, compassion, and taking joy in others' happiness. And these are to be kept in mind. Then, elaborating on non-harming, he listed various ethical precepts for speech and action. Not commandments, but fundamentally aids in training the mind and creating social harmony, two mutually reinforcing benefits. Finally, he listed 3 factors for mental development, and these are what people in the West generally start with, and the 3 work very much together. The first is the effort to discourage and let go of mind states associated with self-centered desire, with aversion of all types, and with confusion. And conversely, the effort to encourage and support states associated with letting go, goodwill, and clarity. And this skillful effort is applied both in formal meditation and in everyday life as best we can. The next factor is mindfulness, which is remembering what you're trying to keep in mind, staying alert, and staying with it. If your mind wanders, you bring it right back. Mindfulness is central to meditation, and it can also have application in everyday life. Mindfulness is most frequently applied to mindfulness of the breath and the body. And in both skillful effort and mindfulness, practicing in formal meditation and practicing in everyday life can be very reinforcing of each other. In fact, all the practices are interdependent. The third of these last 3 factors is samadhi, or collectedness of mind. And this is in many ways an extension of mindfulness, where the staying with the breath and body becomes something you do continuously without distraction for various periods of time. We learn this slowly over time. And this can be an engine facilitating deep, intuitive insights and letting go, especially when it's supported by these other factors. Now, for my part, I have found this path invaluable in gradually letting go more and more of attachments to material abundance and of the need for special experiences. I have also found my worries about the future to be substantially reduced. Now, I am not by any means perfect at either of these, and I continue to practice. However, this path has helped me live more simply and with more contentment and peace of mind. For example, we live in a smaller house and with a lot less travel than we envisioned years ago. We make do with one car, and there are many other examples. And I feel deeply content with that simplicity. I also feel mostly at peace with the world I see going wrong in so many ways, causing so much current and future suffering. I would certainly prefer it to be different, but I do what I can, and it really troubles my heart relatively little. These and many other fruits of the Buddha's path inspire tremendous gratitude on my part. Now, for most of us, this path is first approached through becoming familiar with the meditation. So I will give you a few introductory remarks, and then Laurie will lead us in a brief meditation. The basic steps in this meditation are, first, initially feel the general tone of the body, mind, and heart, and accept those. Second, prepare the posture in a way that can support alertness and comfort. 3, relax the whole body around the erect posture and bring in the element of the moment-by-moment sensations of the breath in a way that supports the relaxation. And in this meditation, as best we can, we let go of thoughts about how well we're doing and simply support how the breath feels and how the body feels with the breathing, with the rhythm of the in-breath, the rhythm of the out-breath, and the pause until the next in-breath comes. Doing this with an attitude of self-compassion and kindness, knowing that this is a gateway into the entire path of the Buddha. It's not a matter of trying hard, but really of trying softly and persistently. Laurie will now lead us.
Okay, I'm going to invite you to stand up if you like at home, stretch a little. I'm going to lead you in about a 5-minute meditation. That may seem like a long time for some of you, but I encourage you to give it a try and just notice any resistance or restlessness that comes up. If there's any children or young people that want to give us a try, please join in. So if you want to sit down now, and I will start by ringing the bell, and then when the meditation is over, I'll ring it again. So if you're comfortable with doing so, please close your eyes, or you can just let them gaze at a spot on the floor in front of you. Take a moment to notice the general tone of your body, your mind, and your heart. Restless, relaxed, happy or sad, full of thoughts, they're all okay. Let any noise in your household, children playing, pets, also be okay. And now I'll invite you to take a moment and establish a posture that can support alertness and comfort. So put your feet flat on the floor if you're able to, and then as best you can, straighten your spine. Sometimes it helps to tuck the chin just a tiny bit. And then once you have that erect spine, relax all the muscles in your body. All the muscles around the neck. Let the shoulders relax. Relax everything around that erect spine. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw or around the forehead or eyes. Invite those areas to relax. Relax the hands. And notice any tightness that is remaining in your body, and allow that to be okay. Now I invite you to take a few deep breaths, paying attention to the sensation of breathing throughout your body. Returning to more normal breathing, notice where you feel the breath in the body. Often in the abdomen and chest, rising and falling. Sometimes around the nostrils. Sometimes we can feel the breath seeming to permeate other areas of the body, the face or the limbs. Let go of how we know the breathing process works and respond in a more intuitive way to the felt sense of breath. Notice how the body feels with the rhythm of the breath. The in-breath, the out-breath, and perhaps notice the pauses between breaths. Bring a gentle intention that the breath bring ease into the body, and then notice the body responding. If the mind wanders, that's natural and okay. As soon as you notice the thoughts, try very gently to set them aside and bring your attention back to the breath and the body. In a moment when I ring the bell, open your eyes if they're closed, and feel free to move the body if you wish. Thank you for trying that with me. If you're interested in learning more about meditation, Dave and I love talking about it, so get in touch with us. We are in the directory.
Thank you, Dave and Lori. And now it's time for our offering. As you've noticed for quite a while now, it's very different than it used to be. You may go online and make a contribution of your choice. Please remember that in these times of virtual worship, we do not have collections every Sunday as we used to have. That means that we're a little short in the coffers. So if you can think of that, and please give generously, we would appreciate it very much. Just go to the place where it says offering and click. Thank you. Joys still enrich our lives, although we are challenged in many ways at this time. And we share fear and sadness with millions of others as the pandemic takes a toll and touches our lives and communities throughout the world. Although we are not together in person, yet we still share the energy of FUS through our continued relationships. One way we can personally share our joys and concerns is through our virtual coffee hour following the service. There we may also catch up with friends and chat with people we may not have known well prior to this time. Let us take a few minutes now to recognize the joys and concerns of our community and beyond. Recently, we lost 2 American patriots through whom our lives and that of our republic, fragile as it is now, were truly enriched. Pastor C.T. Vivian was a close friend and colleague of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and he continued to preach MLK's message for the rest of his life. Congressman John Lewis joined King's inner circle as a very young man, and he spent the rest of his life as a civil rights warrior, even after nearly being beaten to death in Selma on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. He went on to spend 30 years in Congress and to become a true icon in his own lifetime. These men are not Black heroes. They are true heroes for us all. Their lives represent blessings and joys for many, many people, and together with our principles give us strength here in our blessed community. I now light a candle for all our joys and concerns, far and near. I ask you to join me in taking a deep cleansing breath, then exhaling compassion into our world. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
Please join in singing our closing hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Our closing words are adapted from Gaelic runes. Deep peace in the running wave to you. Deep peace in the flowering air to you. Deep peace in the quiet earth to you. Deep peace in the shining stars to you. Deep peace in the infinite peace to you. And now we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.